I thought that was a really important part of the cross-examination of the defendant. Chris, we talked about this.
Pulls their weapon, they shoot center mass. You cannot shoot for the hand, you cannot shoot for the foot, because if you miss, the person you're shooting may get you.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I thought it was important because it's all about, you prove the case, you got to prove the elements, and the judge is going to give them the law, and the judge will explain the law, and now all of a sudden I got them to admit exactly to the elements of the crime that I've charged them with, murder. To me, this was so important. I understand the self-defense aspect of it, but when you have her on the stand saying or something, I think it's powerful, but again, two sides to the story. All right, next piece of evidence says, let me see your hands.
Physical evidence. He's laying right by the couch. He has no pockets. She says she's looking for his hands. He has no pockets. Even if he's coming towards her, his hands are going to be out. But where his hands were getting up off that couch. That's where they were. You guys all know that's the truth. You know it.
What am I gonna know? And I yelled at him. It's like, let me see your hands, let me see your hands.
What was the figure doing?
Moving around.
Did they cause you some concern?
Yes.
Why's that?
I couldn't see his hands.
You didn't express one time that you shot him because he was coming at you.
I did not on the phone.
Sorry.
I did not on the phone.
You did not express one time that he was armed.
I did not.
You didn't say one time that he put you in fear.
I did not.
Also, when officers Blair and Lee arrived and came in, you met them in the hallway.
Yes, I could. Yes, I did.
You also told them that you shot a person thinking that this person was in your apartment.
I did tell them that.
You didn't say one time, I thought he was armed, did you?
I did not.
You didn't say one time he was coming at me, did you?
I did not.
This, to me, this is another important part of the prosecution case. Let me see your hands. He's got no pockets. So is she just not seeing? I mean, he could be showing her his hands and she doesn't see it.
Yeah.
Is that still reasonable? Because to me, this is where prosecutors say this is unreasonable what she's doing. She's saying there's a threat because she doesn't see his hands. Well, that's on her. He's got no pockets. Where are his hands? She doesn't know.
Here's a complete missed opportunity for the prosecution. Why do we know that she yelled, "Let me see your hands"? Because Amber Guyger is still around to tell us that that's exactly how it went down. You know who's not here is the victim. So he can't tell us that there's anything different. Now what we do know is that afterwards, when she's talking to her fellow police officers, she specifically doesn't mention, "I thought he was armed. I asked to see his hands." She's telling us this later as she's collecting her thoughts. If I'm the prosecution, I'm telling the jury all day long, look, we know this and we know how it went down because Amber's the only one who can tell us how it went down, and she's got police training and she knows if she didn't ask that and if she didn't yell that, her case doesn't look very good. I think it's a missed opportunity for the prosecution on that.
Chris, where were his hands? I mean, she has no idea. Nobody has any idea. He may have had them right in front of him.
Well, that's true, and I agree with everything that's been said. We've got to remember, though, just arguments made after the fact about the shorts. She wasn't in a position to see that he had shorts on that had no pockets. We're talking about, we're Monday morning quarterbacking this thing. We are talking about things that are happening very fast. Life and death decisions that are happening on the spot. We have the ability to go back after the fact when you're in a court of law and ask about all these nuances, but really, is that how real life plays out in life and death circumstances? That's why the law provides for mistakes. It doesn't mean that it was right. Was it reasonable?
I want to move on to the last argument that we're going to talk about from the prosecution perspective, and this is probably the most difficult argument for them to win and the most important, which is, was this mistake reasonable or was this an unreasonable mistake?
There are 5 things that she missed right there. 1, the apartment number, okay? Look up a foot, not that difficult. Can't do that? Look down at your feet. You're standing on a bright red mat.
Did you see any other brightly red colored floor mats anywhere along that pathway from the entrance to the fourth floor to here?
No, sir.
Can't do that because your eyes don't function up or down. Well, guess what? When you're putting the key in the hole, your eyes have to be looking somewhere, right? She doesn't see the red blinking light. All right, what about the sensation from going to concrete to carpet? You can tell the difference, and you know how you know she can tell the difference? She said that she felt when she was standing on the threshold, and then, all right, let's open up the apartment, and then get hit with this cloud of marijuana smoke so thick that Ranger Armstrong said 2 days later, it reeked of marijuana.
And I did smell the odor of marijuana.
Basically, me and Bo were both smoking weed, and we kind of knew that it was coming to our door because of maybe the scent of the weed.
All right. Now, when you put all that together, which is what prosecutors want this jury to do, does that make her mistake unreasonable?
I mean, I don't think it
I think
does.
it's a yes/no question, ma'am.
I don't think it does. I mean, in
Okay.
this situation, we talked about it earlier that 23% of the residents admitted to either going to the wrong floor, wrong apartment, wrong door. And like she said, she had tunnel vision, a long day at work. She's carrying all this heavy equipment. She's on her phone. She's not paying attention like she probably normally would. And she's trying to enter what she thinks is her apartment.